Hello, everybody. This is Dallas Johnson. Hey, I want to kind of give you a little bit of an overview of some of the federal laws that are going to affect the operation of a dealership here in the state of Ohio. It seems to me that the regulations that are really hampering our operations are not coming from Columbus, they're actually coming from Washington. So, so these are some of the laws that we're going to be talking about here. The first one being the Bliley Privacy Act. The Bliley Privacy Act, it's a new federal law that went into effect a couple of years ago, and it wants to ensure that you can protect your customers' financial information. So, guys, when you're dealing with a customer, obviously you're going to be keeping a lot of records on the customer. Well, you're going to be required to protect your customer's financial information. So, if you have a document that you filled out regarding, helping them with financing or something like that, and you're storing it in a file cabinet, you would literally have to lock the file cabinet. So you got to safeguard that information. If you're using a computer to basically do online loan applications, this law requires you to have some type of active antivirus protection on that computer so a hacker can't come across the internet, get onto your computer, and pull off your customer's financial information. So don't forget the Bliley Privacy Act requires you to protect the privacy of your customers and protect that financial information. Also, if you take a look here, the Federal Trade Commission has enacted another rule that regulates the operation of dealerships in Ohio, and this new one is called the Red Flags Rule. This is the FTC Red Flags Rule. So what you're going to have to do now is report red flags of identity theft to the Federal Trade Commission. And I want to give you an example of this because let's say, for example, that you meet a guy named Frank Thomas on the lot. You and Frank have a nice conversation. Then all of a sudden, Frank wants to buy a vehicle from you, comes into your dealership office and pulls out an ID that says Jack Smith on it. Well, that's a red flag of identity theft. So you've got to notify the Federal Trade Commission about this red flag of identity theft. And not only are you required to notify them, and by the way, we've got full contact information in the continuing education manual, you're also required to have a written policy in your dealership. So not only are you required to have written red flags policy, but you're required to have that in your dealership as well. Another law that you need to be aware of is going to be the Driver Privacy Protection Act. The state of Ohio became an opt-in state on this. So what this law basically does is it protects the privacy of drivers. And this is all, the customers that you deal with are all going to be drivers. Whether you're purchasing a vehicle from somebody or whether you're selling a vehicle to somebody, they're going to be a driver. So they're going to be protected under the Driver Privacy Protection Act. You want to keep your records under lock and key, okay? The only people that are going to have access to your records are going to be you, an owner or a partner, possibly a licensed salesperson that's having to produce these records to a Bureau of Motor Vehicle inspector doing a records inspection, or maybe to an Ohio Highway Patrol officer. But just remember, everyone, the Driver Privacy Protection Act protects the privacy of drivers. Another federal law that we need to be aware of is called the Uniform Commercial Code. The Uniform Commercial Code is a set of laws that have been adopted and are practiced by all 50 states. It's a uniform commercial policy that's been adopted by all 50 states. Now, the entire Uniform Commercial Code itself, it's about 850 pages thick, so obviously we won't cover that in its entirety, but the majority of what the Uniform Commercial Code states is all of your credit terms must be in writing, and verbal contracts can be completely enforceable. So let's just say, for example, you create an interstate verbal contract with a vehicle that you've got on Craigslist here in Ohio, and somebody in Florida wants to buy it, and you quote a price that says it's $5,000 out the door, and the person comes up from Florida to buy it at your Ohio dealership, well, you can't turn around and say, hey, well, now the price is $6,000. So remember, guys, under the Uniform Commercial Code, when you create an interstate verbal contract, it is completely enforceable. And one final little section we'll talk about here is the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System. I know you're probably aware when you need to do a title search, you can do it through the title search system right there through the county, through the clerk of courts. Very easy to use system. However, the disadvantage to this system is that you can only search Ohio titles. So if you've got an out-of-state title that you want to take a look at and ensure it doesn't have a lien, then you can do that through the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System. This is a federal database that tracks title information, title data. Another requirement of this law, though, is if you are an auto recycler, or if you're opening a junkyard, or a salvage yard, or you take possession of junk or salvage vehicles, you're also going to be required to report and do a monthly report with the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System. So just keep in mind, guys, if you are opening a junkyard, salvage yard, auto recycler, or a towing company, you are going to be required to file a monthly report with the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System. That's something I want you to be aware of. And final thing we'll talk about here is the United States Patriot Act. The United States Patriot Act, I'm sure you remember, was implemented after the September 11th terrorist attacks of 2001. We don't hear too much about it right now, but it is still in effect. And what this does, this law is trying to prevent or deter a terrorism attack against the United States. Well, how is it going to affect you as an Ohio dealer? More than likely, it probably never will. However, if for some reason, some federal agent decides that maybe you sold a vehicle to somebody that now is maybe a suspected terrorist, well, then they can come through, they can confiscate your records, they can actually get to your computers, because what they're trying to do is prevent an act of terrorism against the United States. So if for some reason somebody from the Federal Bureau of Investigations comes along and requests that you submit your files during a Patriot Act investigation, you would be required to comply by these laws. So, guys, that's just another advantage. I hope that you will consider joining the Automobile Dealer Training Association. As I've said several times before, you can just click on the website, ohiodealer.org. You're going to be able to click on it right there. Click on free Ohio dealer manual, or click on the red download button. You can sign up for free by being a licensed dealer in Ohio. You can sign up for free. We're going to be able to send you the continuing education manual that has the federal updates along with the state updates and monthly legislative updates as well. So thanks very much, everybody. I hope this was helpful to you, and we'll talk to you again here very soon.